sure you could say that about those 3 games. And I'm sure you could even say that about the our next game that we're going to be talking about next, the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. You know, the last time these two teams met, folks, August 12th, 2022, they had Aaron Rodgers at the helm. You know, you had Aaron Rodgers slinging the rock. San Francisco won that game 28-21. You know, and this time around, you're not going to have no Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to have, no gunslinger Aaron Rodgers commanding the offense with Devontae Adams. You know, it's a whole new regime in there. You got a whole new set of guys in there. You know, Jordan Love now. You know, he's going to be offering you a different aspect at the quarterback position. This is going to be a very interesting game. Green Bay is definitely a team that nobody thought would be there or even should. Arguably, rebuild mode, that's what everybody was thinking. Another team, hats off to the coaching staff, and let's not forget, right? And let's not forget, hats off to Jordan Love with all the pressure in the world, not only from himself, but the idea of not letting the fans, the NFL, and everyone that's invested in him time and effort to not let them down and replace a legend. You know, this is a very difficult job. Let's not gloss over the fact that he has to replace a first ballot Hall of Famer. We're talking about San Francisco's giving up 9.5 here, folks. The over and the unders 50.5. To be going down to San Francisco, Levi's Stadium here, Green Bay Packers. Talk about another Cinderella story. Do you think the glass slipper will fit here on the foot of the Green Bay Packers, Brady? What do you think?
Yeah, very interesting game. I think very similar to the game we just mentioned there with the Houston Texans, Baltimore Ravens. You know, a lower seed team going in the number one, a very, very tough number one team. And the number one team alone is able to cover the over-under themselves if they play full football and hard-nosed, take it to you. But the Packers, and they're kind of more in the realm of what I was saying not against, but about the Texans and their coaching and bringing in players and all this stuff. The Packers did what they could to keep their guys. They get the head coach that has been here, done that. They get the rookie QB on the rookie contract, so then you can build the team around him. And it took some time. It took about 8 weeks for everything to click together. But they finally look like a really good football team that can be scary to anybody. You saw it. They put the absolute beatdown on the Dallas Cowboys, who had no answer for them. But 49ers, similar to Texans versus Ravens, very parallel games here, where it's a complete team that doesn't make many mistakes, that isn't a highly penalized team. You know, not to take away from the Dallas Cowboys here, but, you know, this is their weakness. And the Packers exploited it and then just ran with it. So I do like the 49ers here. I do want to throw out one stat here, though. If the Packers do get a lead late in the game and they like to or have a lead late in the game, the 49ers under Shanahan are 0-37 when trailing by 8 points or more in the fourth quarter. They have never made a fourth quarter comeback by a full touchdown.
Wow. And that's always been one of those questions that have floated around about Brock Purdy and stuff too. Kind of majority of his career been a front runner. We we all look at him as, and we put to notice the talent around him, the coaching staff and stuff like that. So that's very interesting. I like this game to have a lot of points. I think both teams are going to score heavy in this one. This one I definitely like the over. I think Green Bay's live here, similar to Houston. Green Bay impressive, like Eddie touched on. Nobody would have seen this here. It's a hell of a job by LaFleur and the coaching staff. And it's no wonder that Green Bay continues to be such a good franchise, because they don't got to waste time and effort and draft picks on figuring out who their damn quarterback is. They just draft one. They let them sit for a little while. And as soon as the other guy's ready to walk, they're like, you know what? Thank you. It's been great. And, maybe we cross paths some years later and you can sit in our Ring of Honor. But we got this guy that's going to take over, and Jordan Love has done that. I felt like they had their quarterback at the beginning of the season, but I definitely did not see this whole team, especially the offense, because the defense has been average this year, but the offense with young wide receivers and Christian Watson hadn't even been a big part of that either, and it's just it's nice to watch. It's fun football to watch. They totally dismantled the Cowboys last week, and Aaron Jones wasn't a part of this whole thing pretty much the whole season too. He was banged up week one, never really got into the mix the whole season. So now he looks healthy too, so it's an extra weapon. But Shanahan coming off a rest is usually a beast. San Francisco usually's got that team ready to roll. I think ultimately San Francisco wins this. I think I'll take the Packers with the 9.5 on this one because I think they can get it close. I like it like 28-35 or something like that. Definitely on the over side of things, and I think it's an absolutely fun game to watch. And if the Niners are not buttoned up or possibly trailing at some point in the game, it could get a little dicey. Because this Packers team just doesn't know any better. It's another young team like the Houston Texans. It's like, yeah, we're supposed to be here. I don't know what all y'all are talking about, but like I won in college or all this stuff. So like it's a dangerous one, that kind of situation. But I think San Francisco ultimately wins the game here. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. I think the same exact thing. I think that potentially the Green Bay Packers could cover the 9.5 just because of how good they're playing. I really think that this bye helps and hurts you all at the same time. I don't think that sometimes the bye is for everybody, and I think actually the bye is going to hurt the 49ers more than it could hurt the Baltimore Ravens and just keep this a lot closer than it should be for the Green Bay Packers. But I think the San Francisco 49ers win outright. If I'm throwing the money down, I'm throwing the money down on the over, and I'm taking Green Bay with the points because I think that eventually they're just not going to be able to hang. But, they'll hang maybe 3 quarters, maybe four quarters right there at the end and just let go right there at the end. If it was 5 quarters, maybe Green Bay would have won it. I think this is going to come down to maybe a little bit closer, not necessarily like the Baltimore Ravens game where I agree with Brady, where it could be a blowout, but it also could be a hell of a game. What do you guys think? Is there anything else here on the Green Bay Packers, Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers game? Jordan Reed ended up being the leading receiver, and then guys coming back from injuries, Watkins and things, just really balling out. Do you think that the receiving core helped out Love just as much as Love and his preparation for himself and his situation as well? Do you think he had just an all-star cast around him to get him to this point?
No, it took Love half a season to even get into a rhythm. Because you got to remember, the first half of the season, he was the least accurate starting quarterback in the league. He was throwing around 50% completions. Now I think he's up to in the high 50s, low 60s range. He's moving the needle. It takes a lot to move the needle when you're sitting at 50.5 on week 8. So it's hard to move the needle up anything higher than 62% completion percentage. But he's playing very good football here. Adding the cast of guys here to help him out. Getting a very healthy veteran running back, Aaron Jones back helps a lot. But when you're going against the 49ers, especially off a bye, I got to agree with Charlie, though. Coming off a bye, I think could hurt a lot of teams, but I don't think it's going to hurt teams with coaches like Shanahan, which you give them extra time to watch film, extra time to scheme, extra time to plan. Those are the coaches you don't want having the extra time. So that's where I like the 49ers.
I think it's a little 50-50 to answer your question. I think organizationally, with the way they drafted, the pieces they put around Jordan Love and the coaching staff, the game planning, the aggressiveness that LaFleur has allowed Jordan Love to play with here the back half of the season and into the playoffs, instilling confidence in the young quarterback and letting him come along with these young weapons. But you got to give a big portion of it to Jordan Love himself, because this kid sat back. You never heard a peep out of him. Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to retire. I kind of want to play here. This. He did it the right way, similar to what Rodgers did before him. We didn't hear much out of Aaron Rodgers when Brett Favre was going through all his diva drama. I'm going to play another season. I'm going to go back to the house. You guys come find me, that type of stuff. So he's obviously learned some things. He has made throws off platform, displayed very nice accuracy down the back half of the season. So he is growing and getting more comfortable in this role. So I think it's a 50-50 split, because I think Green Bay internally has done a fantastic job too, like they usually do, as we, highlighted earlier.
No doubt. Yeah, 64.3% on the in the regular season there for Jordan Love. Incredible. When you take a look at the numbers, they're very similar to who he's facing, Brock Purdy. Both threw for 4,000 yards. One's thrown for 32 touchdowns. The other threw for 31 touchdowns. So it's very interesting how they both find themselves battling each other in a playoff game where you lose, you go home. But it's a hell of a game there, the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Is there anything else anyone else has to add?
I mean, Love has battled with some interceptions this year, though, too.
11 on the season.
As much as he's looked good, he's had some turnovers. I think this one's really going to come down to what defense can make a play and get the ball back for their team, honestly, because they both run similar offenses. So I think they know what they're going to be facing. But tackling is going to be huge. It always is against San Francisco. And Green Bay's got dynamic weapons, as you highlighted, Jaden Reed, electric. So tackling is going to be important, and taking the ball away. Whoever can take the ball away the most.
No doubt.
That's all I got.
What you got, Brave?
Same. I mean,
no doubt.
Nothing else to add there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. This will wrap up Saturday. Divisional round. Peace.
Dirty deuces.
Good.